Hello, how was District Taco?
Oh, is that who it was today? District Taco, how do you guys feel about lunch location?
Good, it was good.
It was
Have
okay.
you guys never been to District Taco?
I've been there once, but
I don't like
Goodness,
exploring
Taco
places.
Tuesdays? Oh my goodness.
Oh, we're pushing you out of your comfort zone.
Not really like I just since Chick-fil-A's here, that's just where I go. Like
That's where everybody goes, Chick-fil-A.
I used to be that way at Taco Bell. I did everything Taco Bell when I was young. Well, still, if I see a Taco Bell drive through,
I
you might
know.
see me there.
I haven't had Taco Bell in like 15 years.
And also they have Mountain Dew at Taco Bell.
Oh,
That's
my
my drink.
mom used to drink like Mountain Dew like crazy, and then she like decided to stop.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, she was like she had like really bad headaches.
You said what? They will come to you and then ask me immediately. Okay. I'm going straight.
No,
I'm trying to
Coca-Cola.
Yep.
called
Because
caffeine.
you've got to try
Right.
to
It is caffeine.
take. I have 9 sick
Coca-Cola's
days
good,
that I need to
but it's
use
addictive.
throughout this time, so I'm trying to take that. I just find it very hard to say I need a sick day when we're virtual and I only have to be in the building twice a week. So I'm like, okay, Friday I'll take off. Do I have to really take off Friday? Not really. So I need to use my days because I donated the rest of it to the sick
And I eat one of the kids' bananas.
and then I get my money back for annual right, they pay me back. No. If I would have known that, I would have taken less annual leave on vacation, more sick leave. But if you use 3 days in a row, you have to have a note for the other ones.
You know,
I'm
I'm
like,
an early lunch eater. I'll eat my lunch before
So.
lunchtime. And I used to
should be
get in
interesting.
trouble all the time.
I just like I'm
I just
trying
have these
to
memories of,
like I'm going to do a happy hour on June 18th.
and
That you guys
having to
want
say
to
goodbye
come to.
so that I
Yeah, I'm inviting the entire school. Like any teacher, I want to say goodbye to them. So like administrators, security, whatever, from 4 to 6 over at Guapo's. Like I'll order some appetizers and just have people maybe stop by. 'Cause I would love to say goodbye because I don't see
first I'd start with
any more teachers since we're all virtual. Like I won't be able to say goodbye. So I'm going to be email saying I'm leaving
I have nothing but
please, I would love to say goodbye.
and a firmness of war
4 to 6 on June
Oh, they hurt my mouth.
Yes. That's what I plan on doing for these guys to let them know that.
Only they had gala apples.
And then this is it's been kind of looking. Why is she
But
here?
now I realize too, in
Kind of
some
thing.
ways, like it's kind of good that I was like sneaking
Definitely my
out
intention. So
because
they should know that I won't.
I'm a slow eater and I was a really slow eater then. And even with my ICS,
Yeah,
it
they-
took me
they'll
a
be
whole
fine.
lunch period to eat everything else.
And again, I'm over across the street.
And people used to say like, oh, unless it's because you talk too much. Alone, it's
I
really
don't
slow.
know.
Now
So
I watch
I'm
my children.
not by the hour. I'm salary.
You want them alone, I'm slow eating.
Pay yeah, first
I
part-time
watch my
person
children.
salary. I'm like, why?
Oh my God, have you not started to set a timer?
I am.
I don't know.
Okay.
30 minutes, I give them
So
40
I
minutes.
will have to go through
They're
them and then
both-
request
but
me.
it's-
So and they could just get when I see Miss
But
Erin
also
Tang
Rosie
on
will
an
just
hourly
like
basis,
that
which I think might be
meeting and then she'll have water.
cool. I have no idea.
Or
But yeah,
like
that's
JoJo
how
will
they
be
would
like,
see
oh,
it.
I have to
Because
go
they
to
won't
bathroom.
need all the rest of the stuff because they'll just want to know like I'll help them with. Because since I know Naviance, I will help them with their Naviance. I'll help them with Common App. I'll help them with their activity section. Essay, they have essay people, but they also have essay people. So I don't want to have them be charged for anything that they can get
So
here.
I get my
And if they feel more comfortable with me and the parents have the means to do that, then they can see it. I'll help them with their fit and college choices. So nothing where I'm not pulling kids from here and not. But if any parent or anybody wants that service, then yeah. So and literally just tell me when I set my own hours and when I'm available and stuff like that, so they can put them in the times. And I have a person that schedules all that for me. I don't have to do anything. I was like, this is great. And I'm only have 10 kids, so if they want to, they get it on. So I don't know. And if they tell me there's a
Why do you have this?
Are the Jesus people here in person or?
They thought it was,
Very good, cause that right.
they thought it was virtual, and I thought it, and I told them, we actually talked on the phone, and I have the PowerPoint on it, so, they said they didn't know, they said because we're in a virtual world, they thought the whole time I was talking to them, it was gonna be. I was like, I thought I told you it was in person, the kids were coming to the school, but they may have missed that in an email. But they'll be on the same lineup. And then the last presenter is me, and I'll be.
So, Lisa, she asked you about the class happening.
They're awesome. I will ask for that day. Absolutely, they were great.
Yeah, I would really like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a lot of
Yep.
Huh? I would too. I feel like this year. Yes.
Oh, I got it. Oh, you did it right this year. And then I got it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I see today.
Well, right, and my fear is always tell kids are praying for them to probably hold their homework.
And when I was
It goes the same thing at Panera. Yeah.
So you guys, in about 7 minutes or so, our next presentation is actually going to be over Zoom again. There's a miscommunication. They were supposed to be here, but they're not. So that's the meeting link right there.
Oh, I need a
And
name.
they're going to start at 1:40. If I can get them on the screen and get the sound to work, they'll be on the screen. You don't have to worry about it. But if I can't, you guys have the link ready to go.
Do you know what I mean? 'Cause they can go. Yes, you're right. Doesn't really matter. It'll just like, we should make a mental note that like, if we contribute them back to the future self or something, that we do. Just so we know exactly how much we spent on that. Hmm? Mm-hmm. Is that it?
I don't know, but give it a try.
And Karen will be here next week?
No, no.
What is she? Well, I that's a lot before, since kids, I think. Right, so I was just wondering whether.
She's just here to speak this is trying to, raise awareness about, COVID treatment and getting that vaccine that people that we use, like, when you first get sick, before you get hospitalized, it's called something.
Okay.
So, they're very effective. So,
Oh, you do the practice test? Yeah. And like,
yeah, she has.
lots of practice, but like,
But it's not like
question you want.
she had COVID and was treating the person as now a disciple or something. Right.
Yeah, practice test is only for practice test is five. Interesting. For actual test, 8. For a session.
Mr. Hodge.
Hey, how you doing, Miss Harrington?
Sure, whatever you want.
Good. Hold on, let me put my video on so you can see me. Hi.
How you doing?
Good. I have the kids logged in because I can't get you're up on the screen so they can see your faces, see your face, but they can't. The volume is coming from my computer. So they'll be looking at you from their computer and listening through their computer, but you're on the screen.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we're gonna get started in a second. I'm waiting for everybody to come in, and I gotta pull up your presentation. So give me one moment.
The recording has stopped.
What's the meeting password?
Oh, let me go there. There you go. So does everybody have this? Have them open? Yes, no, maybe. We're still waiting for one more.
Okay. So here's the I don't know why that. So she's the one who. Who's the one who posted to us who wasn't here last week? Oh, I see. Okay.
And then where's
Okay. Oh, so these are check marks from.
Yes.
Right. No idea.
okay.
That's what the camera's for.
So she didn't come back. Okay. So we have one who is here and is not, and then who wasn't here.
Alright, hold on. I'm done. Oh, there we go. Can you hear me, Francis?
Yes.
Okay.
Just turn my mic.
Okay, I'm just waiting for one more student. She's like lost, so just give me another minute.
First.
Okay. Thank you. Girl, come on. Yes, you, Heather. We're about to start your presentation. Put some back to your stuff, and you never picked up this stuff, and that's fine. Okay.
Miss Harrington, did
Yeah.
Miss Larman join?
Hold on, let me
So
see.
she's in the waiting room.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Real quick. I'm gonna figure out how to. One second. Stop sharing. everybody on? Alright, so we're waiting for Ms. Larmeth to join, but our next presentation is gonna be from our DC CAP representatives, Mr. Francis Hodge and Ms. Taylor Larmeth. She is joining right now. So on your, you guys are individually looking at them right now. I'm gonna mute myself and then I'm gonna let Mr. Hodge and Ms. Larmeth introduce themselves, and then Mr. Hodge, when you're ready for the PowerPoint, let me know. 'Cause it's,
Taylor, you can go first.
oh my god, my phone. It's on vibrate. It's too cool.
As I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you. Feel free to contact me whenever. You will be getting a lot of emails from me.
Good afternoon, rising seniors. My name is Francis Hodge. I serve as the Alpha Leadership Advisor as well as the DC CAP Advisor along with Ms. Larmeth. I'm at Wilson 3 days out the week, and Ms. Larmeth is at Wilson 5 days a week. Ms. Harrington, when you're ready to share your screen, you can get started.
Alright. Alright, I'm ready.
All right, thank you. So again, juniors, congratulations. This is the first step in your senior application process when it comes to college, and we're going to dive briefly about what DC CAP is, what it does, and how we'll be able to support you guys between today and as you move forward all the way up into your senior year. Again, our email information can be found on the screen below for your reference. My email is francis.hodge@dccap.org. Ms. Larmeth is taylor.larmeth@dccap.org, and we're available 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. We go next screen.
Wait a second, hold on, give me 1 second, my this is kinda new for me to do this and run this for you, hold on 1 second. Maybe I have to get you guys to share, cause I'm the host, so when they're looking at cause they're on their individual, computers, so you might have to become the host and share your screen. Hold on.
I just tried to share it and it says that it's not a.
Yeah, I think we can make him a co-host.
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
have
make
to do
them.
it.
Yeah, let me make you a host. Hold on. Sorry, technology is not my friend.
It's lovely and it can be annoying.
Alright, so I'm going to make you the host. Okay, so Mr. Hodge, you can now share your screen.
All right, can everybody
Can
see?
everybody see the screen now?
Yes.
Yes, yes, we're go, okay.
Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna get right back to it. So when we talk about DC CAP and the services that we provide, we focus on financial aid, scholarship searches, as well as application assistance when it comes to college applications, SAT and ACT registration, DC tag application and completion, as well as we provide college retention services, which pretty much focus on you all completing college, enrolling in college, and making sure you guys overcome any barriers that you may be facing while enrolled when it comes to college. When we talk about our scholarship requirements, we have a plethora of scholarships. So we're going to dive a little bit in about what those scholarships look like today. We have 3 scholarships that are offered at Wilson. So we have our ALP scholarship, we have our DC CAP scholarship, and then we have our University Partnership scholarship. Now, for all of these scholarships, pretty much you must have a cumulative high school GPA of a 2.5. In order to be eligible, you must register for DC CAP services. But we'll talk about that over in our next couple of slides. You must demonstrate a financial need by providing financial aid or letter from your University. And then you also must attend BCCAP's pre-college program during the summertime in order to be eligible for the scholarship completion. And the BCCAP's pre-college program, if you have any questions about that, we can answer that at the end of the presentation. Again, these are the eligibility documents, right? So we have 2 forms that you all must be required to complete and fill out in order to sign up and be a part of any BCCAP services or apply to any BCCAP scholarships. So the first form that we want you guys to look at is that student authorization form, right? And the student authorization form is essentially just a snapshot of the information from your date of birth, your name, your social security number, the college selected, and then we want to pretty much get an idea of your parents and obtain their college, not their college information, but their contact information, and that'll help us be able to work with you all as you move forward throughout the next school year. And then also the similar form is called the student registration data card. Essentially, you all will be able to copy and paste the links from these particular forms and fill those out. For those that are interested, I highly encourage you guys to not miss this step. This is the first step in order to be a part of anything BCCAP related, right? And then we also must have completed documents that come from FAFSA. FAFSA, that'll pretty much be a free application for federal student aid. That'll allow us to say, okay, said student completed their FAFSA application, therefore that will be a component that will go along with the supporting documents that we mentioned earlier. And then also a BC tag if you're attending a public university or a university partner school. So, I know you guys heard me talk about the university partnership, right? So just to give you an idea, so we have partnered with 10 colleges and universities across the country, and we try to provide a plethora of different schools to provide you all with versatility, options, and a wide range of majors and different academic programs. So I'll go through the schools briefly, and you guys can take a look at a school and just to quickly check, make sure your cumulative GPA matches that school's requirements, and also look at the city and state in which that school is occupied as well. So the first school we have is Delaware State University in Dover, Delaware. Cumulative GPA of a 2.5 is needed. George Mason University, SUNY Oswego, University of Massachusetts Lowell, Ohio University, North Carolina A&T, Kent State University, Marshall University, Alabama A&M University, as well as Westchester University to top off our 10th school. So again, if you all are interested in any of these schools, take a picture, take a screenshot, and you can work with me and Ms. Larman to pretty much make sure you guys take advantage of this unique opportunity. Alright, so the BCCAP partnership overview continue. Essentially, it is a comprehensive scholarship that will cover tuition, fees, room and board costs. It's a renewable scholarship that will support you based on your academic needs and progress. A campus visit is typically, it typically occurs pre-COVID, right? So what we've done during our times during COVID, we've had to offer virtual tours. But pre-COVID, we would allow students to actually visit each campus if they were interested, just to take a tour of it, get an idea, and get a feel of it. Because I know when I was in your shoes, I needed to visit my campus, which was Delaware State University, prior to me making my actual decision. So I know that'll be a central component of when you guys decide, okay, which school is for me, which school is not for me. And then also too, you must attend mandatory pre-college programming to prepare you and your parent for the transition from high school to college. So if selected, we will have reoccurring meetings that will pretty much provide more insight and more information. That way you and your parents, as well as the school staff, can be more incorporated into what's going on, how should you move, and what school should you take advantage of, right? And then you'll also be eligible to receive continued support services provided by a dedicated on-campus advisor while enrolled at one of the 10 institutions. Again, so for application reminders, you all can apply to all university partners where they meet or exceed the requirements. You only can be selected for one school as a scholar, right? So keep that in mind. You only can be selected for one school, not two, not three. The scholarship is only geared towards working for one school. Scholars, you guys can select based on preference as well as availability. And again, keep this in mind, scholars across the city are applying to this particular scholarship. So you guys don't want to wait until the deadline is close. You want to make sure you get on it as soon as you possibly can. And then also, there are online applications applications and supporting documents that must be completed and submitted before the scholarship deadline. And then also just another note to keep in mind, DCCAP will select partnership scholars based on student preference as well as several fit factors. The scholars may be selected for a school that is not their first choice as well, right? So for example, Mr. Hodge wanted to go to North Carolina A&T, right? But I didn't have the ability to get in solely because my SAT score didn't meet the requirement, right? So what happens is I may have to be considered for another school such as Delaware State University. And in actuality, just a fun fact, that actually was a true fact in my personal journey in high school. So I want you guys to keep that in mind and definitely be open to any other schools that are part of our 10 school cohort. Our deadlines, right? So for the BC-CAP scholarship, it opens up December 1st and it is due May 31st. Every scholarship is pretty much first come, first served basis. And then the scholars are announced after July 1st, 2022. In that case for you all. And then for the DC-CAP University Partnership Scholarship open, we'll have due dates and then we'll have semifinalists and you guys will continue to progress towards making the ultimate decision whether you'll be selected or if you have to defer to another school. So if you guys have any questions or concerns, again, my name is Mr. Hodge and Ms. Larmouth. We will be able to pretty much help answer any questions that you guys may have. And thank you for taking the time to listen. If you have any questions, answers, we're gonna open that up right now.
Before that, let me just add on to some things. Going back to the university partners, now we have a number of 10 schools right now, but that might change this year because as the year goes on, we are planning on adding more and more schools to the list. So by the time you guys are in start school, I'm hoping that those new schools will be added, and I think that they will be added, so you might have some other choices as well. And why should you apply to these schools? At least consider applying to these schools through the University Partners Program with DC-CAP. You should, because just by being a part of the DC-CAP program and applying to these schools, each university may more than likely give you a special grant or scholarship as a result of being a part of the DC-CAP program to help to fill that financial gap. And so definitely consider doing that. The goal is for you guys to submit applications for the DC-CAP scholarship itself, the University Partner Scholarship itself over the summer. So I will be sending you guys emails if you're interested. I know you guys have your plans, you have things that you may have already scheduled to do, but please do not ignore your email from time to time. Please check your email. I will be sending out important information for you guys to check out to prepare for these scholarships, especially the University Partner Scholarship. Again, as I said, if you're interested, we would love for you to complete the application over the summer break. It is not a binding agreement when you complete the scholarship application. Even if you're not sure if you're going to these schools or not, I recommend that you do go ahead and complete the application for the University Partner Scholarships. And once you're in school, and you can apply to these schools. Again, it is not a binding a contract where you have to go to these schools if you do apply. So I just wanted to make sure I added that. And Mr. Hodge also mentioned the GPA requirements. So that is, you have to have at least a minimum of 2.5. So it's 2.5 and above for the DC-CAP scholarship. So these two gets very confusing. So we have our DC-CAP scholarship. That scholarship, it doesn't matter what school you apply to, as long as it is a 4-year accredited university within the US, you can apply to the DC-CAP scholarship. And if you're eligible to apply, and you can be able to get that scholarship for the most part to attend whatever school you want to attend in the US. But the University Partner Scholarship, that is separate from the DC-CAP scholarship, they're going to be for those universities, those schools that are listed, those specific schools that are listed on the list for the University Partner schools. So just make sure you know the difference, what it is that you're applying for and what you're not applying for. What else? Something else. Can you please move down to the next page, Francis? Take that out. Okay. Okay, so some things may change as we go along, right? So some of these dates may slightly change, and again, you all will be notified notify upfront ahead of time what you need to do in order to meet those requirements. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask. Oh, one more thing. So as far as scholarships in general, you will be getting scholarships opportunity outside of what DC CAP offers. I will be getting a list of those. Typically, I will send out a scholarship booklet, and these are external scholarships. They're outside of our organization, but we have access to those, and we will send out an entire booklet for you guys to look through. And typically, in the past, Ms. Arrington would definitely send those out as well. But just, again, pay attention to your email. I do know that every year, students, once you start the 12th grade, everyone is so focused on the academics and everything. That's great. Yes, you have to be focused, but for some reason, they tend to just leave out all scholarships until the very end. I get a lot of students, parents emailing me at the very end, and sometimes I'm able to respond, sometimes I'm not able to respond because everyone is coming at me at the same time. So as you make your plans, you set out your schedule, put some time aside to focus on searching for scholarships. Treat it like a part-time job. You want to put some time into searching. Google is your friend. Search Google. Look at the emails we are sending out with scholarship opportunities. They're all throughout the year. They typically start, for the most part, the deadlines are like in the spring and onward. You may have some a few in the fall. But you definitely do not want to ignore the scholarship. At the end of the school year, after you're done with everything else, senior activities, school activities, now you want to look at scholarships. The deadlines have passed. But you don't want to be that student who wants to wait till the very end. All right, so we're open for questions. If you have questions, feel free to ask. You have our email addresses. I will be available throughout the summer this year. Yeah, that's different for me this year, but yes, I will be. So send me emails if you have questions about certain things. Feel free to contact myself over the summer. Mr. Hodge will be back in the fall.
So you guys can hear me, Taylor and Mr. Hodge?
Yes.
I have a question. Can you guys go over just delve a little bit into FAFSA and DC TAG? There's things out now saying that students should go ahead and get their FSA ID over the summer. So can you talk a little bit about that, and even if you have to type the website up on the screen or something where they can go and kind of start that process, that would be awesome.
I'll work on doing that, and then Taylor, if you want to just touch on it while I look up the site real quick, that'd be great.
Yeah, so with that, I haven't really looked into it very much yet, but we are going to definitely get the site and information. Even if you put it on here, make sure I send that to your class so you can have more information on that. So the, what is it called again? Oh, God. The ID, right? Your FSA ID. FSA ID is pretty much like an electronic signature that you're going to need to sign your free application for federal student aid, which is FAFSA for short. Yes, I come from Ohio. I always say FAFSA. So that's free application for federal student aid. Every student is going to have to complete that application to attend college, no matter what college you're going to. They will ask for that information. You need to complete that. So once you complete that, you and your parent would have to sign that document. And when you do sign that document, this FSA ID is what you will need to be able to sign that document. So right now, they want you guys to go ahead and complete this information, signing up, registering, and creating your FSA ID over the summer. So when that time comes around, it can speed up the process, and there's no delay and this, that, and the other. As I said, we will send out detailed information to you guys. Thanks for bringing that out, Ms. Arrington. We will definitely give that out to you guys before the end of the school year. And I will touch bases with you guys over the summer as we go along. As I said, check your email. You're now about to be seniors. Start preparing. You don't want to wait till the last minute. Also, do you have anything to add to that, Princess? Or Mr. Hodge?
Yes, I will say everything that Ms. Larman echoed, that is indeed true, of course. And then also too, for students as well as parents, the parent must have an FSA ID as well. In order for the FAFSA application to be completed in its entirety, to be submitted, well. So make sure you guys keep that in mind when you're working on creating yours. You'll also need to work on your parent having their own individual FSA ID as well, and that'll serve as the electronic signature so you guys can submit that actual FAFSA application.
Try to save that in keep that in a safe place, because if you miss that and you lost it in misplaces and you don't know what it is, it can sometimes be complicated, trying to go through the process to log back in and this, that, and the other. So that's very important. To touch bases with DC TAC. Now, DC TAC, okay, this is a grant that comes from DC, from Washington DC government. TAG stands for Tuition Assistant Grant, okay? That has nothing to do with DC CAP. Our organization is called DC CAP. We are a private nonprofit organization. We do not provide DC TAG. DC, the district, does. We do not do that. However, we do collaborate with the TAG representatives to assist you guys in completing your DC TAG application, to just promote the application, assist students with whatever questions they may have, and just help guide them. So that grant is available to DC students. If you are you are a DC resident, your parents are paying taxes in DC, you can apply to get that grant. It's up to a certain dollar amount that your parent has to be making a year. It used to be almost $1 million, but I think now it's around almost $800,000 a year. The typical person is not making that, so for the most part, a lot of students are eligible to apply. Even though it is available to you as a DC resident, you still have to submit that application. And the application typically opens pre-COVID, I think it was the same this year, February 1st is when the application typically opens, okay? So you will have your FAFSA, the free application for Federal Student Aid. That is going to open in October. It typically opens in October, and you have to submit that application. So once that happens, we will remind you guys, go ahead, complete the FAFSA, and then prepare to do your DC TAG application in February. That is when the application opened. Pre-COVID, the deadline was up to June the 30th, something like that. Usually we do at the very last day of June is usually when it's the deadline for the TAG. And the TAG is first come, first serve. So once that application opens, you want to make sure you go ahead and submit your application so that you are not, left out, because they do run out of funding. And so you want to be one of those first students to complete that application and submit it. So another thing I want to say also about that is that a lot of students are typically just deciding, they haven't decided yet what schools they're going to attend. When filling out the TAG application, they do not know what to put on the application because they haven't decided. But what I usually tell students is just from your application list, because you have a list of schools you can apply to, one of those schools has to be, for the most part, has to be a public university, right? So you want to put the public university on that application. It can always be changed later once you've made your decision as to where you are going. Now, I say this because TAG applies to four-year university, not just four-year university, also community colleges and four-year university, but if you do select a public university, you would get the most out of TAG. So you will be given up to $10,000 to help you pay the difference between in-state tuition and out-of-state tuition with DC TAG, and that with state schools, public schools, okay? As far as private schools, you can get up to $2,500. That is correct, right, Mr. Hodge? $2,500 for HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, anywhere in the United States. You will be able to get up to $2,500 to attend those schools from TAG. But again, they can be HBCUs all nationwide. And also, private universities in the DC metro area, like American, George Washington, Marymount, you will be able to get up to $2,500 for those private schools in the DC area only that are not HBCUs. But any private schools that is not an HBCU outside of the district, you're not going to get any TAG money for that school. So you have to keep that in mind. So if you want to get assistance with some funding from the district, you want to focus on your public universities. I mean, the community colleges now, they are offering up to $10,000 to help pay the difference between in-state and out-of-state tuition as well with the community colleges. In the past, it used to be 2,500, right? I believe it's either 2,000 or 2,500, but it's gone up to 10,000 now. Again, that is the difference between in-state and out-of-state tuition. So here's an example. Let's say you decide you want to go to school, you want to go to Virginia Commonwealth University, and let's just say, this is just a guess, if the students in that state, in Virginia, residents of Virginia, are paying, let's say, $35,000 a year to attend the school, but because you are not a resident of Virginia, you're going to be charged, let's say, $46,000 a year to attend, right? So then TAG comes in and would subtract $35,000 from $46,000. Whatever that difference is, which is like $11,000, TAG is going to pay a maximum of $10,000 to bring you as close as possible to what the students are paying in-state. So instead of paying now $46,000, you're paying $36,000 while they're paying $35,000. If the difference was $7,000, TAG will pay the $7,000, and you will be paying the same amount as the students in that state to attend the school. Again, this is for public universities. All right, so that is what DC TAG is about. Definitely, focus on that, learn about it. I will send out some information to you guys so you can become more familiar with it. You have personal representatives based on your last name. You can ask specific questions about DC TAG, and they will be able to assist you. But then that's all down the line. But we're just here to make you guys familiar with these things.
Absolutely, and I think just to echo what Ms. Larmouth mentioned, the DC TAG counselors, they all can be found on their website, right? So, as you guys can see, I'm on the DC TAG website right now, and pretty much what you'll do is, when it comes to signing up, registering, making sure you guys are taking care of what you need to when it comes to DC TAG, you would essentially go through the registration process first. That's the first step, and then you'll answer these questions. You'll put in your email, right? And then you'll also begin to fill in your name, date of birth, social security number, as well as high school information, along with your address for part of BC. And then at that bottom, you'll hit the create new account, right? And then from there, what you'll do is you'll register your parent as well, similar to FAFSA in a way, and you all will help your parent navigate through that particular information screen. And ultimately, you guys ever run into any issues, because we do often sometimes get conflicted or confused, I'll say, more so with DC TAG and DC CAP. They do have their own individual counselors and representatives that will pretty much be able to help guide you and support you through that application process. The counselors are assigned based on last names, so keep that in mind. For example, Mr. Lloyd Anderson, he services students with the last names beginning in A through E. Melanie Fleming, only C with the last name. Sir Walter Hempfield, he services letters F through N, and then so on and so on per counselor, right? So you guys have all the resources available to you. Take advantage of all this free money. We don't want to have to worry about how we'll pay for school after we figured out, okay, I can get into school, I did get to school. Now how will you stay in school? And these tools such as DC CAP and DC TAG and applying for additional scholarships will make sure you guys actually complete college.
Awesome. Do any of you guys have any questions about financial aid, about scholarships, about where to search for scholarships outside of Google, about anything?
Like if your parents already got like a FAFSA ID, could they just use their old one?
No, somebody had something for us.
Yes, so one question is, like, we have a student that's older brother is in college right now and asked if the parent already has a FSA ID that they use for him, do they have to get a new one or can they use the same one?
Yes, they can use the same one for their children.
Okay.
Because it just represents the parent. It represents the parent all the time. So no matter what who the child is, the
Okay.
parent will use the same.
Awesome, good question. Anybody else have any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Well, you said it already.
You can unmute yourself and ask it.
Oh. Hello. Oh. Okay. I was wondering where you search for scholarships outside of Google.
So for example, I know
great scholarships for an engineer major or a nursing major, who's offering scholarship, for those specific majors, or I'm saying they've had scholarship for maybe a height or, something that you may be interested in as an extracurricular activity. Just by searching that, you can find a list of tons of scholarship everywhere. Use Google as you would with anything else that you are doing. A lot of you guys are always on the internet. You know how to navigate the internet to find things that you want. Do the same thing with your scholarships. Be very specific, and you will be surprised a whole lot of things will come up.
And I'll also add too, if you all decide to look into whatever school you decide to select, right? Sometimes the schools offer scholarships as well. And I know, for example, when I was in undergrad, my major department, which was criminal justice, they offered us scholarships, right? And then even our financial aid office, they offer scholarships as well. So that's definitely a source for you. But what you can't do, though, I know this sometimes may be confusing. You can't take a scholarship from Virginia Commonwealth University, right, that they may be offering, and then try to apply that to a Howard University, for example. It just won't be feasibly possible. So make sure you guys are keeping that in mind. The scholarships that are offered from the school can only be used at that particular school, and if you're admitted and accepted into the school.
And I also want to add, so once you're in school or you're getting ready to go to school, be friends with the people in the financial aid office. Always go and talk to them about scholarships, what they may have available. They may have some private donors somewhere. They may have some kind of special grant that's there that they really don't advertise. Talk to them, ask them about specific scholarships, or if you do have some needs, talk to them about it. You will be surprised what they come up with. You'll be able to get some help that way.
Awesome. Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Hodge or Ms. Lana? Yes.
Hello. I have a question about the ECAP registration process. I remember you guys talked earlier about how we register over the summer. I was just wondering more about that process and what it actually is.
Okay, so the link we have provided in here, this is just a data registration card. So I will share this link with you guys via email, and we've sent it out before. Some students have already registered. So it's just a link you click on, putting basic information. And I know that Mr. Hodge mentioned social security numbers. Those are sensitive, that's sensitive data. So here's what I would say. This actually, the registration card is a data card. They have removed that. Now, you would just click on the link, putting basic information, name, address, maybe what academy you were in school, the classes that you were taking, what is your GPA, and things like that you would have to enter. And that's basically it. And it goes, it's in an online portal, it goes in there, it gets to us, and we have that on file. We do have what we call a student release form, authorization form, or what have you, is there for you to sign. That still has the social security portion over there, but when I send it out, I always tell students not to put that in there. We don't need that unless you actually apply for our scholarships and you've been selected, you're getting our scholarship. Then that information is needed to process funding throughout the years at your school. But again, it's not on the data registration card. It's not required for you to put on any of these forms unless you are here with us and you're getting the scholarship and we ask for that information. But yeah, it's just as simple as clicking the link that will go out. It's also on the slides over here. It's just as simple as clicking that, just filling out the forms. You can do that now. We've sent it out to the 11th grade class already. Like I said, 134 of you have completed it. Then we have the university partners application, which is separate, which I said that we would need if you're interested in those university partner schools that we have on the list. That they're still working out some new details on it. So once the link comes to the actual application to apply for the university partner scholarship application, I would then get that link out to you. Those students, interested students can then go ahead and complete that application again just by clicking the link and answering the required questions that are on the application and submitting it. And that's pretty much what that's going to be like. Did that answer your question at all? Okay, Mr. Hodge.
Oh, I was just going to add, I'm actually on the screen now for what the BC CAP registration card essentially, it's pretty much everything that Ms. Larmouth mentioned, just the reasons why, and then it'll get facilitated, or not facilitated, also streamlined directly to us.
Can you, Mr. Hodge, can you share your screen? It's still on the PowerPoint.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. All right, can you guys see it now?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, we
Yeah,
can see
okay.
this.
So essentially, yes, this is what the VCCAT registration card looks like. Just a quick overview at the top for why, and then all you have to do is pretty much fill in your information, email, last name, first name, high school. Your VCCAT advisor, that's both Ms. Larmouth and myself, and then Ms. Arrington, the high school counselor name, school year 21, 22. What grade are we in? We're in the 12th grade. It's super exciting. It's a little nervous, but it's super exciting. And then make sure you guys continue just to fill in your information.
As much as we can, yeah.
As much as you can. And when you're ready to submit, we'll click next. Alright? And then we'll go to the next screen, which focuses on GPAs. I believe I have a 2.9. Alright, so I kind of qualify for some of these VCCAT services. I think, right, Ms. Larmouth?
Right, so you're above 2.5 and above.
And then again, you all will continue to answer as many questions as possible. Some of the questions that must be answered have a red asterisk mark by it, so you won't be able to skip that. But there's no difficult questions that you guys won't be able to answer pretty much for the most part. Right? And you continue to scroll down. If you don't know your parents' income, that's fine. You don't have to answer that.
That's pretty much it. You generate information about a school, things like your parents' contact. Yes, that's been very helpful. Students, sometimes you guys just don't respond to emails or you don't open your emails. So just having your parent contact in there too. I've been getting through to parents, calling parents, or contacting parents like, hey, I need such and such to submit such and such. I want to submit this scholarship application, and that's how sometimes I've been able to get a hold of you guys, because the parents, of course, as a parent, they're hearing scholarship money, what? And this child is not answering. They're right on top of it, So it's important that we have your parent contact information. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then we can get to your parents to get to you, to get to back to us.
Great question. Mr. Fisher.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? No? Any counselors have any questions?
Thank you.
Alright.
Was anybody interested in any of those partner schools that are on the list? Or did you have any of those schools in your mind that you were going to add to the list initially?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
I can go back to that screen too, so you guys can look at it one more time.
And then really quick, question, do both parents need the FSA ID or just one?
Just one.
Just one. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome sauce, thank you. Does anybody think they might be interested in any of the partners, schools that were on the screen before?
I do.
Yes.
But George Mason is on there, which I'm happy about now.
I know.
From last year.
Okay.
A lot of Wilson students applied to George Mason's. North Carolina A&T too. A good amount of students. Yeah. All right. Well, if you don't have any more questions, as I said, we are here. I'm just an email away. Send me one, and I'm pretty good about trying to get back to you guys as fast as I can.
Awesome, thank you guys so much, Ms. Larmouth and Mr. Hodge, for dedicating your time today to these wonderful students. And they have your email is actually on the screen in here, so they can have that. And we also copied your PowerPoint, and they have it physically in front of them for their parents as well. So you guys are taken care of. So thank you so much for presenting today.
You're very welcome, and I look forward to meeting you guys and working with you guys. Good luck with everything. Enjoy your summer.
Thank you.
Definitely thank you, Ms. Arrington, for having us as well, and good luck, you guys. It's exciting. I know it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's exciting. The final year of high school, and why not finish it off with scholarship money?
Absolutely. We'll be in contact soon. Thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. All right. So you guys learned a little bit about financial aid, kind of where you can find scholarships. What happens during the summer and even throughout the school year? Once a month, DCPS publishes a newsletter called DCPS Newsletter, whatever it is. And I actually cut and paste and copy all the scholarships that are in that newsletter once a month and send it to you. So they have local and national scholarships in that newsletter. So that's like what Ms. Larmouth and Mr. Hodger said. You have to open your emails. And if you guys get bogged down with emails in like your Gmail account, if you go into your Naviance, up in the right-hand corner, it says messages. Every email that we send through Naviance, which is how we send our emails, is right there. So you don't have to look through your class emails or anything specific to college, to scholarships. A message from your counselor, a message from me will go into that message in your Naviance, so you guys don't have to go in different places to kind of search. Yes?
Is there a way to get like, well, I don't know if you said this, sorry, but like, is there a way for it like to go to your like my personal email instead of Naviance?
It goes your personal email, it goes in both.
Oh, 'cause I don't get like emails. My mom does, but I don't.
Do you guys have your emails in Naviance? It's linked through
Or in
Aspen.
whatever
Yeah,
your
whatever
Aspen
you have in
login is.
Aspen.
Mine is
Right.
I don't know why, but it has the wrong email. Like that's not my email.
Well, when you guys register
need
for
to,
school, make sure that your parents or whoever is registering you puts your email in Aspen. Aspen pulls all of its data. Naviance pulls all of its data from Aspen. So if something is not in Aspen and it's not correct, you will not get stuff in Naviance, right? So that's the only way we can contact you. You probably haven't been getting as much stuff in your junior year from me, because I'm the college and career person. So you only get like what is needed. So if there was any junior scholarships, I sent those out. Things you're starting to get now, you're going to get an overload of stuff throughout the summer and during the school year, and constantly throughout the school year, where you guys get stuff. So like if you're looking at, see that messages right there up in the right hand corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see everything sitting right there. You see how many you've missed?
Yeah. Because I didn't know you could check it through Naviance.
Yes, you can check it. That's why Naviance does that, because it's sometimes it kind of filters out the messages you're getting in Naviance, so it doesn't go to like that other central place where you guys are getting emails from everywhere, and then you might miss something. So it has one place, one-stop shop for you guys to be able to be in there, answer your emails that are college-related, scholarship-related, any messages pertinent to this process go through Naviance. Teachers do not go through Naviance, so you don't have to worry about teacher emails or anything in Naviance. All Naviance is used for counselors and myself. Okay. All right. So if you guys want to take a little 5-minute break, you can. The last session of the day is actually me presenting to you guys about how to identify fit. So you're going to get some really cool information about how to select. Where do I start in selecting a college? So you guys go ahead and take 5 minutes. You're just supposed to have 15. I don't think you need 15, but if you need 15, take 15. But the faster we get through this, the faster you can go home. So take a quick break, stretch your legs for a second, go to the bathroom if you have to. We still have a few muffins, bananas and clementines, I believe, or tangelos, I don't think.
I don't know what they're.
Citrus fruits.
The citrus fruits
good.
on the counter if you guys want those. And then we'll get started when you guys get back.
Just the citrus.
Sure.
I am. And of grades and current courses, this is from college for so and because I'm thinking, okay, we gotta get this stuff out. Well, like how to
My blood cards every 3
They don't need us. Don't they need to fill out their code now? The school dress and the name, and then the name.
I literally said one email, never got an email back from them.
You haven't?
Not at all, like where today, I mean, I have to,
Oh.
no, I haven't, but during the year.
But anyway, so I assumed it was part of the application.
No, it is, but like, I tell them all of that in the presentation that I do, or the PowerPoint that they get at the beginning of the year, so they have everything there and they stick it to them. So I've gotten maybe one about what's nice and you go to the address of the school, like it's very rare.
Okay.
So things that I don't get a plethora of emails on, I don't follow. That's the things that I do. Because if you do everything, you can just count yourself too. But you are more than welcome
So I
to
was
send
thinking
them
about
out
it
so
into
they
this
have
gather
it.
your materials, what they were asking about. What do we need for Common App? They said, Common App has something. Cause what I was thinking, your checklist, I'm like, okay.
You're gonna
They want that,
what-
I'm like, you can access this.
Yeah,
Well, and
they can't access their transfer on that.
They can access all the distributed classes, and your tested, and I would walk them through that.
They're not gonna run, they're running, actually for an official transcript, the whole time.
And attendance and grades.
I did too. And I went to every single, the rising girls last year, every single one of them got a note from me. And, so yeah, you're really welcome to do that.
I'm not back.
It was worth it. I mean, but there was also kids were here in the summer, and so they stuffed the envelopes for me, so I didn't have to do it myself. So like, if you find some kids that are willing to come in and stuff envelopes.
Do you include any other information with those transcripts? No, that's why I'm like.
I just put one letter, like a single page letter introducing myself and kind of steps of what they need to do, and then gave them the transcript, opened it up, and they stuck the kids stuff in the corner, and that was the
And
right
do you
one.
think it's because I'm thinking, because it seems like that would take less time than receiving 440 individual transcripts and things like that, or email. You know what I mean? I mean, I know it's a hard thing, like, what takes less
That's a
time.
hard thing, but this year they didn't have that, and I didn't really get a whole lot of people asking for their transcript or anything like that. A lot of them used, either they figured out how to get it off last thing, or.
Aspen also has the guide graduation
Okay.
in their packet. It's that thing that used to have the footprints on it, it's multi-page. So,
Like they're on Acme.
right, there's its stuff, there's their transcripts, so their transcripts from the spring, or not just the fall, that show the classes that they completed, it shows the classes completed through the first semester, and then what they were to do now.
Okay.
It's mailed home, all the way through 11th graders in March.
Okay.
Not mailed, added to their
That is very thing.
Might have been mailed home too.
They did not do that before.
No. The person who's doing that now actually is a former teacher.
So they know there's a need for that. So if they're getting that, just tell them where to go.
Yeah. That's why I don't,
Yeah,
that's why I'm
just-
like, I wanna get this
Just
out
tell
there.
them where to go. We don't have to mail anything home. It's not 440 envelopes. Tell them where to go. They have to start being referred. You can't do everything for them. They have, you go, this is where you go, you gotta go there. Now, here's this, and you can't, you're gonna lose your time. Because they're about to go to college. If they can't find something, and you've told them where it is, you've done a presentation on where it is, it's on the Wilson website inside that presentation of where it is, then they don't need to. That's my thought on it, but I'm probably a lot more than most people. I'm not gonna hold their hands, like, I'm not gonna hold their hands in every single last piece of it.
No, but totally.
You're gonna do them because you're gonna get another email. Hey, Sergeant, what about this? You're gonna have to look into it. now they have a video on it.
Very hard to see when it's already
Video for that one person.
Oh, you know.
You know what I mean? Or instead of saying, go to the website,
No.
using the PowerPoint, make it that whole website.
They also,
And I think
if it wasn't updated,
Yeah, so that's what I was.
But most of these specials
I don't even know if I saw if you recruit.
right, so that you don't even know about them unless you ask, hey, I'm getting a question about this.
Yeah,
Or
so-
tell me, or we
No.
can find it, or.
Actually,
Unless
I
they
gave
have
up
all
studying.
the site where I say, okay, this is
This is the person I told you. This is the about it. Like,
Or you're gonna have to
it's blind a little bit for the tax.
question mark and say, if you don't tell them this is where it is, or
Well, that, you know,
this is where it is, this is where it's from. I wish she's cut and pasted that thing.
Oh, it's not even on one
The
side.
one pages. It's the one pages that they have
Oh,
questions about.
so both mine
So sometimes their accounts are all jacked up and it fixes it, but that's the thing that you have to accept. You have created some wonderful things. You know, so it's like, so here's this.
I have been, you know, my other presentation, I have been,
anyway.
I resend it.
And that's what you're gonna have.
Because
If
people
you're what,
because
you know,
product is
Yeah,
virtual,
because
like it at least from where I was you props and you
I could just get resend.
have to put something on the first, like,
no
that's
matter
nice.
to see myself.
Yeah.
Boom, calculators, and you'll still get that one or two people that are like, huh? Well, why are you doing this? Why did you send this? I was like, it said it, this does not pertain to me, please disregard. It's still your email. And like those emails are gonna make you create and keep creating, and keep creating, and keep creating, and keep creating stuff.
No, I
And send
don't.
it to people. It's stupid.
Well, I am hoping in person, but I think part of my anxiety too is that we can't, like we say, okay, we're gonna go to English classes, because they're full, there's no one place or time.
You just sit there saying, I'm gonna go here.
Yeah, like I can't imagine how they can walk this year with trying to get information, I mean, basically having that.
It was crazy, virtual,
Yeah.
trying to get information out, at least in person. You know where to find someone that comes on. Once they ask them, the kids kind of spread the word, they can't really spread the word if they aren't seeing them, you know what I mean? So you'll get a lot of you out there, which is It was crazy. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Presentation time. So you guys make sure that when we are giving presentations or you're getting information, read through all of it. Like, it's so tedious to keep sending you guys the same emails over and over and over and over again. Just make it a habit now to read everything word for word all the way through. You guys skim and miss information, and that's when you send emails, I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. And you're like, So make sure you guys are getting the whole picture in the email. And then if you don't understand something, send that out. So somehow my screen is still showing that. Come on, projector, don't fail me now. Just give it a moment. Hopefully it'll come back on.
Do you think we need to turn the lights on? You think it could be
Um,
connected?
The lights? No.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty.
Why would they just leave?
No, we can see.
I don't think
Yeah,
somebody.
pretty.
I didn't even try. Oh, come on.
Okay. You know what? What? What if it's, I can,
Is the projector not working?
It just went out. I started pushing buttons like this. Okay.
ah, there we go.
All right.
Hey.
You get, I can put it up, put it on. I can finish it. You all right? You want to finish it? Sure. I'm not supposed to listen. She's right there.
Okay, there we go. All right. There we go. All right. Let's make sure that we can do it. Are you guys okay with me presenting from back here so I can push the thingy?
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
Okay, so the last presentation for today is that we're gonna kind of talk about, and you guys can take notes, about how to identify your best fit. Some key factors you should considering when assessing fit are kind of like, what school should I choose? Where do I want to go? All of these things are factors into assessing your fit. So key factors
some of your main things that your college admissions people are going to be looking at, or college reps are going to be looking at, is how rigorous was your 4 years of high school? What's your cumulative GPA? Did you take the SAT or ACT? Did you take advantage of the opportunities your school has to offer? What do you want to major in? And how do you learn the best? Okay? These are just some of your basic factors that when a college admissions rep is looking at your application, these are things that they're looking at first. And when they, kind of before they start that whole holistic review they were speaking of, these are your numbers factors. We're gonna go not so much into the numbers factors, but we're gonna dive a little bit into how you yourself and what you can do and what you're gonna be looking at to try to find that best fit college. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys a take on what some of the real hard factors are for what admissions reps are looking at. Why do these factors matter? And so by focusing on what's important to you, you can begin narrowing those over 3,000, actually more than that, institutions to a top 10, a top 15, or even a top 20. And you might even consider schools that are not on your radar. So when you're going through this, you might find those schools that you hear people talk about all the time, some of your most common schools, even the schools that kids from Wilson are applying to that you see more often. But sometimes you might want to look at a school that may not be on your radar. And by going through assessing fit for you, you're going to find your gem, or your needle in a haystack. What is most important to you? Academics, location, size, professors that are at the institution, the campus and student life, value, career opportunities, and of course, being the athlete that I am, I threw in athletics. So we're gonna break down each one of these factors. Academics. Does the school you have, does the school you are thinking about, does it have your major? You need to start thinking about what your interests are, what your career path might be, even a favorite class that you had in high school. And what are their similarities? Or are there similarities to these? There's about 68% of students that have absolutely no clue of what they want to major in, and that's okay. That is okay. Some universities don't even let you decide on a major until your sophomore year, because knowing the wonderful adolescents or young adults that you are, you change your mind a lot. So they want to make sure that you are absolutely certain what you want to do from your sophomore year on, so they can get you out of college on time, and you're not spending 6 and 7 years trying to accumulate credits to try to graduate with something. Location. Part of the country, what part of the country, I forgot to put what part of the country do you see yourself living? So, do you want to be close to home or far away? We have lots of students that want to stay nearby. Maybe you're just saying no. He's like, absolutely not. Maybe some of you, like your parents, want you to stay closer to home so they can get to you in a timely fashion if something happens. We've had a lot of parents throughout my years of being the college and career director that they're like, I gotta get my hands on my child in 4 hours. That's about in a car. I'm 4 hours. They're 4 hours away. That's as far as they can go. So we can only look at schools that are 4 hours away. You also want to consider, what kind of climate do you prefer? You guys have lived in DC your entire lives, at least most of you. And you know it's humid. We get some kind of winters here, depends on the year. But maybe you're like, you know what? I absolutely don't want any more cold weather. I'm going to either California or Florida. So if you know that, you can you can narrow it down to California schools and Florida schools. So figuring out what kind of climate you prefer is a great way of kind of figuring out schools that are in that climate that you want. Do you want to live in a major city or smaller college town? We get students from here that either want one or the other. Big college, big major city like DC, where you can take a bus, you can take the metro. There's some cities that you're gonna go to that don't even have a metro system. So how are you getting around town, right? So, or do you want to be in that smaller college town where you're like in this gated community, or the college, like you're on the gates and you feel like you're not even anywhere else but immersed within that college, and then the town is kind of small, you know, maybe that doesn't have really a bus system, no metro, but you can walk to everything. So figuring out that will dictate some of the schools. There's some schools that aren't even located in smaller towns, that are only located in major cities. So this is a good way to kind of narrow that down. What kind of off-campus activities do you enjoy? Or says, do I enjoy? So when you're saying that, hey, what do I want to do outside of the gates or the walls of the school? Do I want to go hiking or biking? Do I like to go to concerts or movies? Do I like to, I don't know, go wall climbing? Whatever it is, you have to make sure that that city or that campus has what you want, or you're going to be bored out of your mind. There's some schools that don't have a Chick-fil-A or a Chipotle. If that is the necessity to you, and that college campus or that city doesn't have that, that may not be a place where you want to go, right? And then, of course, what's the surrounding town like? Which I just kind of went over in that first part. Size. How big is the school? Colleges come in all sizes. Think about your size high school and the number of people in a class. Consider if you like it when a teacher knows your name or your classmates know your name, or do you prefer to be hidden? Big schools have large campuses, lots of different majors, and of course I had to throw this in, Division I sport. Smaller schools are more individualized attention, and you can customize your experience and have a community feel. So take, for example, the University of Maryland. University of Maryland is a very big school, right? It's got like over 30,000 students. Then you take a school like Georgetown. Georgetown has about 5,000 or 6,000 students. So trying to figure out those classroom sizes. So if you're in those bigger schools, most of the time, I'll actually get to the next slide, but those bigger schools, most of your class sizes are going to be huge, right? And then those smaller schools, the classroom sizes are going to be smaller. So how do you see yourself fitting in at that university within the class, amongst the students, and can you be around a lot of people? Or do you want that more quaint, small community feel? So these are things, are schools that represent both. Professors. Who are they and how do they teach? Professors can bring a class or a major alive. They can challenge you and make you think differently. They open up your mind to new outcomes and questions, and they feed your intellectual curiosity. When you're looking at different or researching different universities, you want to look up the professor or the major and see if they have published research, they taught at other colleges. These things are huge when you're thinking about who is teaching me, what experience are they bringing to the table. Larger schools delegate a lot of their work to TAs, which are teachers' assistants. So do you want a TA teaching most of your classes, or would you rather have that hands-on from the professor? Look at the student-to-teacher ratio. See how accessible your teacher will be. If you have those burning questions, your teachers at smaller schools will, and at larger schools too, it goes both ways, will have office hours. But how accessible are those professors to you, so if you have to go to an office hour, that they're going to be available? There's so many schools that their professors sit down and have coffee with them, you know, in the quad or off campus, where you can have that one-on-one attention. So thinking about that and choosing. And then how do you learn the best? Do you learn better with 15 kids in a class, or do you learn better when you're put on a PowerPoint with 150 kids in a class? So thinking about that when you're choosing your school and trying to find that fit. Campus life. What is there to do? Do students live on or off campus? That's a huge thing, because if students live off campus. Do you think there's gonna be a ton of activities to do for students on the weekend if they're not there? No. So thinking about that, like how our students are more on campus or off campus, the weekend offerings. Does the college have your favorite club or activity? So many schools have 500 clubs and activities that you can be involved with. I mean, from the moon to the sun to the Mars to everything. And then other smaller schools may not have as many clubs and activities. But make sure you're choosing a school that has your interest. Because again, if you don't, what are you gonna do outside of your classwork or your classroom days? You wanna make sure that you guys are getting the overall collegiate experience, so you're not just academically thriving, but you're thriving in other aspects of your life. Does the city have things you like to do? Like I said before, are there movie theaters? Are there, if you like sports, are there professional sports teams in that city? If you like going to a baseball game or basketball game or football game, what does the city offer? Does it have a beach nearby? If you love going to the beach, does it have walls or rock climbing or mountain climbing or hiking and biking? Make sure those cities and things around when you're at that school have what you're interested in. Because you do not want to be bored and then come home after a year and like, you know what? Great academic school, but I just can't find anything else to do or find my people that I can do those things with. So really think about that. Value. How much does this university or college cost? Cost of attendance for each institution will vary, but always remember that the sticker price does not always tell the entire story, right? So if a school is posted on their website and they say, we cost $50,000, not necessarily does a school gonna cost you $50,000. There's scholarships, there's all kinds of stuff that's gonna make that cost go down. You're going to look at the school's merit-based aid that you will automatically qualify for. So a lot of you will go into the school with a certain GPA, and on that college website, you're going to find that you're gonna qualify automatically for particular scholarships, depending on GPA and SAT or ACT score. Look at scholarships that are also offered on their website. So colleges, when you log in or go into research that college, they will have their own separate tab that says scholarships that is pertinent to their school that you can apply to, that will have a deadline, but it's just for that college. So make sure you guys are checking out those that scholarship tab on those particular universities. FAFSA we talked about earlier, which you will fill that out. And I know there's a lot of kids at Wilson, which makes us so unique and diverse, is that we have from the rich to the poor, right? So there's some students that her parents will say, you know what, Miss Arrington, I would love to fill out the FAFSA, but we just will not qualify for any need, you know? It's like, but FAFSA is not necessarily a need-based scholarship or a need-based document. It opens up so many other scholarships for you guys. You'll get your acceptance letter and your printout of all of your financial aid award letter that you'll receive, and you'll see that you qualify for 2 scholarships that you never knew existed just because you filled out the FAFSA. You'll get an out-of-state scholarship for $15,000 that you're like, I didn't know I was gonna get this. So make sure no matter what the income of your family, please fill out the FAFSA. There's also work study programs that you guys can get involved with. You can work on campus and actually get paid to do so many hours a week. So once you get to college, look and see if you can do a work study program where you can actually go to school and work on campus a certain amount of hours per week and get some funds for yourself. Career opportunities. What does life look like after graduation? So all schools will have internships and career fairs, but you need to know the outcomes. Look for the outcomes page on the college website that shares information about the recent graduates. How many graduated that were placed in a job 6 to 9 months after graduation?
That's a really big thing. If you're graduating from this particular university and this particular major, you want to know, how long is it going to take me to get a job? You don't want to come home to your parents for a year looking for a job or working at some place that you don't want to work at. See what the school is doing for those students in that major. What is the average starting salary for students who are graduating from that particular school? That means jobs are taking a look at the value of that education or the value of that university and saying, hey, these kids coming from here are making this amount of money. We're gonna pay them this amount of money because they're coming from this particular college, right? And that happens, not that it's the right thing to do, because all colleges offer their own value no matter no matter what, and there's so many to choose from. But you definitely wanna just take a glance at what companies are saying about those students once they graduate. And then also look at what major companies work with the university and those students. So if you're a business major and you're interested in working for Google, are there partnerships already with Google in place? Right? If you're finance, you want to work with Wells Fargo, Bank of America, do they place students from that university that you're attending? And then what does the alumni network look like? There are so many schools that even a lot of famous people have gone to. What does the alumni network look like? How many people are coming out of that school that are really doing something? From doctors to lawyers to entertainers to athletes, whatever it is, look at that alumni network. And then of course they had to put up their athletics. Does your college love their sports? Do you want to be at a Power 5 conference, large school where sports are going to sport and events is important? Do you prefer some sports to give you something to participate in, like club sports? Some of you may have participated in a sport while in high school, but may not be at that level to get a scholarship or continue it on in college, but you still like to do it for fun. See if that college offers club sports for you. So some of the smaller universities may or may not have club sports, and if they do have club sports, they may or may not have the sport that you want to participate in. So make sure all of that is there. And then do you want any kind of athletic vibe? I've had students that said, I like sports, but it's not my thing. So I don't really want to go to a school where sports is really prevalent. They don't want an athletic vibe at all. And there's a lot of schools that have Division 2 or 3 sports, but it's not an end-all, be-all kind of thing, and the vibe is just not sports related. And you can find those schools. And then, does the campus community love their athletes? So I went to the University of Oklahoma, Big 12 conference. If you know football, football is great. Softball team's in the World Series right now. Whatever the case, the basketball team is usually pretty good. But the surrounding area, like we could go, and I played volleyball at Oklahoma. I could go anywhere with my volleyball Oklahoma jacket on and get hookups at places because that outside companies and restaurants and places love Sooners. So do you want that kind of vibe? We're like, oh my God, they love our athletes. This is amazing. So for me, this will be a huge factor when I select a school. I want to be somewhere where sports was like, okay, so you guys choose what you find out, again, that's important to you. What else can you do to assess fit? After we've gone through all of those factors, academics, value, career paths, all of that stuff, what else can you guys be thinking about when assessing fit? Visit the campus or a similar campus. So now schools are starting to open up because COVID is allowing that to happen. So this summer, you guys should be able to visit some schools that you think or contemplating about attending. If you can't get to that particular campus, I would definitely look at a campus that's similar. So if you're thinking about a big school, University of Maryland, right? It's going to be similar to a University of Maryland, a Wisconsin, a Michigan, a Miami. All of those schools kind of act like the same kind of vibe. If you're looking at a smaller school, St. John's College of Maryland is a super small school. So you can go visit there if they're open. Even if you're not looking at St. John's College of Maryland and looking at something similar, you could always look at how a small school operates. Join the social media accounts. So you guys are always on social media, doing TikTok and all this other stuff. The crazy thing is that all of these colleges have their own social media outlets. Join them. A lot of kids make the mistake of trying to join once they've been accepted to the school. Join now. There's always student takeovers, and they're taking you through the campus, a day in the life of a student. So make sure you guys are on those social media networks. I have been given this advice to students for a long time of reading the school newspaper. Everybody knows that the Beacon here at Wilson is like the student's voice, teacher's voice. It has the good stuff and the bad stuff of what's happening on the day in life in the community of Wilson High School. So do other colleges. They have the same thing. A lot of kids who are on the Beacon go to school for journalism and join the school newspaper at that particular university. These are the mindset of the student. So read the newspaper. See if you can get along with these kids, because they're going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. They'll tell you everything you need to know that's happening on that campus or what should happen on that campus. So let's say there's something that should happen on that campus and we have it here, like, you know what? They're saying that they don't have a Common Ground club. I'm in Common Ground. I'm going to take that to this new university so I can do something and thrive a little bit and bring something new. I'm bringing something different that hasn't been started at this particular university. You can bring that. So that's why that school newspaper is super important. Can you get along with all of these kids and their mindset? They might not be in the same frame of mind that you are. So you will be annoyed by half the people on your campus. You don't want that either. So making sure you guys are looking at the kinds of students and people you want to be around, and so many other factors that I've actually listed above. Use Niche or Big Future to narrow your searches. These are two websites that you guys can use to kind of plug in. So Big Future, you can plug in school, large school, 10 hours from here for you, Simon, that want to get away from home. You know, warm climate, and it will filter in schools for you. So make sure you guys are using those too. And then participate in college admissions reps in-person visits. So this past year, we weren't able to do that. So normally I bring over 280 schools to Wilson to do in-person visits for you. As long as you have those colleges and colleges I'm thinking about, you'll get an email from that school 24 hours before they arrive to tell you, hey, University of Miami is coming tomorrow at 10 a.m. So making sure you guys are participating in those. If they're not coming here this year, they will do a website. We had maybe not 250, but at least over 200 schools do virtual visits this year. And juniors are allowed to come to those. I know you guys have a full schedule, but some of you participated in them this year, and if you didn't, you can participate in them next year. They talk a lot about the university, so you can assess fit from their presentation and ask questions. Also remember that that college admissions rep who is either coming in person or given that virtual webinar is the very first read on your application. You have to get 2 yeses to get into committee. So you have to go through that rep first. So make sure you make nice with them. My final thoughts, because I don't want to overwhelm you with so much stuff in one day. Finding your best fit school ultimately is a feeling. You must know yourself and what you want to get out of the next 4 years of your life. Where you will academically be challenged and thrive. You will grow into the best version of yourself over the next few years, and you want that university to foster that growth. So that's what you guys are ultimately thinking about when you're choosing that university. When I step foot on the campus, I turned down Stanford. Everyone looks at me like I'm crazy. I turned down USC. I turned down Penn State and about 30 other colleges, because when I stepped foot on the University of Oklahoma's campus, I knew that was the place for me, where I was going to grow, where I was going to thrive, where I was going to have the best next 4 years of my life, whether if I was playing volleyball or not. So you guys will get that. In the class of 2021,
wasn't able to experience that part of it. They had to kind of get that feel from webinars and the web. But if you guys have an opportunity to visit some of the schools that you're thinking about, you will get the ultimate feeling. Make sure you're choosing a school that for you, not your parents, not your friends, for you. It is your next 4 years, not anybody else's. Don't choose a school because of popularity. Choose it because it fits your learning style. It fits what you want to do and what you want to get out of it over the next 4 years. Some people choose, oh, my friends are going here. Can't be with your friends for the rest of your lives. Your friends will be home in the summertime just like you, and you can see them then. Choose a school that fits you, because if you don't, you will be contacting me and saying, Miss Arrington, I want to transfer. How do I do that after a year? We don't want you to transfer. We want you to get it right the first time. And if by chance you don't get it right the first time, that is an option, but I like my 90% placement rate, and I don't want it broken. Okay. Do you guys have any questions? I just left you with a quote. Positive thoughts generate positive feelings and attract positive life experiences. So as long as you guys keep an open mind to a lot of new experiences, the sky's the limit. Any questions, comments, or concerns? No? Did y'all like my presentation?
Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome sauce. So that brings us to 309. Do we have any house rules? Yes.
Yeah, we wanted to ask them some questions again,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
there's some homework that, were you gonna ask them about, researching some colleges?
Yes. Your homework today. Thank you for my reminder. Homework, you guys have to research, we'll give you 3 colleges, and write down 5 things for those 3 colleges that you learned with assessing fit. Okay, so like campus life, academics, professors, anything that you learned from this presentation of how to assess fit. I need 5 things that 3 particular universities, how they would fit you by Wednesday, and we'll go over that. Does everyone understand that? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you will come up here and present each one of those. Yes, you will. Yeah. No, I don't want a PowerPoint. She's like, I don't want a PowerPoint. I want you to be able to say, hey, I chose the University of Miami because. Okay, if that's one of your choices. It's actually in Coral Gables. It's about 30 minutes from South Beach, but yes, it's near Miami. All right, thank you guys. We're going to turn it over to our wonderful PTSU representatives.
So Karen and I have some questions, but, if you recall,